Now we will move to the beautiful country of Burkina Faso. Dr. Angèle Bassolé Ouédraogo was born February 8, 1967 in Abidjan in the Ivory Coast. She studied in the Ivory Coast, in Burkina, and in Canada. Possessing a doctorate in literature, she is a specialist in the sociocritique of the poetry of African women, and she studies the sensitive issue of Black feminism. Author and editor, in 2004, she was the recipient of the prestigious Trillium Prize of Ontario for her second collection, Avec, mots&quot, an homage to Norbert Zongo. She has published 10 collections of poetry and has contributed to numerous anthologies in Canada, the United States, France, and Africa. Veuillez inviter Mme Dr. Angèle Bassolé Ouédraogo à présenter son histoire.
Merci, thank you Rashmi and your organization for inviting me, and I'm very pleased to be here today. I would like to talk about, to tell a story about a great man, a great story from a great man who has a link with your country, India, because he went to New Delhi on March 1983 as a Prime Minister of Burkina Faso, and his name is Thomas Sankara. Is considered as the African Che Guevara. We used to compare him as the African Che Guevara because he is so popular. He had a vision for Africa, for Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso's first name was Upper Volta, and he named the country in 1983 with Burkina Faso. And Burkina Faso is, Burkina is in my mother tongue, More, and Burkina means the half right. And Faso means the country, so it's the country of the upright. And he made only what he could to make the people proud of this country. And when he was in New Delhi, he talked about the legacy of President Nehru, because he was at the summit of the non-aligned countries. And Nehru was the co-founder of this organization. So he was a Pan-Africanist. He wants a new vision for Africa. In 4 years, he put Burkina Faso in the map of the world. And as Rashmi said, I was not born in Burkina Faso. I was born in Cote d'Ivoire. And it's Sankara who made me come back to my homeland in Burkina Faso. And so I would like to show you a small video about him, and what he will say is saying in the video. I will explain it. And what I'm wearing is a fabric that he promotes in Burkina Faso and around the world. And I have a sample here. We call it Faso Gamfani, and it's handmade. It's cotton handmade. And as a publisher, I want to pay tribute to him. So I published a book, a graphic novel, in English and in French, so you can have access to it. And it's named Sankara. It's here. I hope I can show. Sorry. So you will show in the video. You will show in the video his face and what he's saying. So he talked about, he advocates for human rights, for freedom of expression, for development, economic development of Africa, for real independence of Africa, because we were still not so independent, because we are always linked to the European countries who colonized Africa, and he was fighting for that. In the video I will show you, he was saying that we are not, we don't have to pay the debt, the colonial debt, but he acknowledged that if it was he alone and Burkina Faso who said that he won't be at the next conference, and indeed he was assassinated in 1987. So we will show the video and I will explain it after, if the stage is ready.
Welcome to the African Leadership Series, where we bring you great inspirational speeches from African leaders. Who in this room does not wish to see our debt simply cancelled? If you don't, you can take the first flight to the World Bank, to go and pay to the World Bank. I would like this conference to clearly declare that we cannot pay the debt. Not in a rebellious spirit, but just to avoid being assassinated individually. In Burkina Faso, I'm the only one to refuse, and I might not be in the next conference. But on the other hand, with everybody's support, and when we are saying that we should not pay the debt, we are not refusing our responsibilities or not keeping our words. It's just that we don't have the same moral standards as others. Between the rich and the poor, moral standards cannot be the same. The Bible or the Quran cannot serve those who exploit people and those exploited ones in the same way. We should have 2 editions of the Bible and 2 editions of the Quran. Brothers, with everybody's support, we will make peace at home. We will be able to use Africa's full potential, as well as develop our country because our land is rich. We have enough manpower and we have a very large market. From the north to the south, to the east to the west, we have enough brain power to create. Or at least go and learn science and technology where it can be learned from. Mr. President, let's present a united front against the debt here in Addis Ababa. Let's make sure that this conference will decide to limit the arms race between poor and weak countries. The clubs and knives that we buy are useless. Let's make sure that the African market belongs to Africans. Let's produce in Africa, manufacture in Africa, and consume in Africa. Let's produce what we need and consume what we produce. Instead of importing goods, Burkina Faso came here to show our locally produced cotton, woven in Burkina Faso, tailored in Burkina Faso, to clothe our own people. I, along with my delegation, am dressed by our tailors, our farmers. Not a single thread comes from Europe or America. I'm not presenting a fashion show here, but simply I would like to say that we must accept to live the African way. It's the only way to live in freedom and with dignity. Thank you, Mr. President. Our homeland, of all, we will win. If you like informative and educational videos from Africa, make sure to like, subscribe, and use the notification bell to
Thank you. So it's the fabric here. I have some sample outside on the table. We call it Faso Damfani. And Faso is the name of the country. Damfani, it's a cloth handmade cloth. So it's the story. And he did a great thing for women, for African women, Burkinabe women, freedom. And in his government, he was the first president to have a woman as a leader of economical minister, the budget, and something other things. He empowered women, and he made a great thing for the country. And as a Burkinabe, it's my duty to pay tribute to him. It's why I published this book, and we can have it on the table too. I don't know if there is my time is over? No, okay, thank you. So.
Merci beaucoup. Votre histoire a été tellement intéressante. Thank you so much for sharing this truly wonderful story with us. And it's lovely to see the connection between Burkina Faso and India.